San Francisco ที่Oregon Portland Oregon ก็ที่Washington DC ด้วย
ขอต้อนรับท่านผู้ชมทุกท่านเข้าสู่รายการเสียงไทยเพื่อเสรีภาพของคนไทยนะครับวันที่ 27 กรกฎาคมนี้กลุ่มนักศึกษาชาวอเมริกันภายใต้ชื่อกลุ่มที่ว่า Engage หรือว่า Educational Network for Global and Grassroots Exchange ที่เป็นกลุ่มนักศึกษาหรือว่าเป็นกลุ่มคนอเมริกันที่เคยมีโครงการแลกเปลี่ยนนะครับไปศึกษาหรือว่าไปเรียนรู้สังคมไทยอยู่ในประเทศไทยพร้อมทั้งเครือข่ายของพวกเขานั้นก็จะมีการจัดกิจกรรมรณรงค์เพื่อที่จะไม่เห็นด้วยหรือไม่ยอมรับการทำรัฐประหารในประเทศไทยนะครับและก็มีประเด็นหลายอย่างเหมือนกันที่เขาต้องการที่จะให้ชาวโลกได้รับรู้ซึ่งการจัดกิจกรรมครั้งนี้ก็จะจัดขึ้นนะครับที่หน้าสถานกงสุลไทยในนครลอสแอนเจลิสนะครับเรื่องนี้จะเป็นอย่างไรเราจะพูดคุยเรื่องนี้กับคุณไมค์Aguilar นะครับซึ่งก็เป็นสมาชิกของ Engage นะครับ Hi Mike, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Tell me about your campaign on 27 July. What type of this campaign and what do you want to present or to send the message to Thailand or to the world?
So this is part of a larger campaign. In terms of the military coup and junta that's taken over Thailand, a number of rights have been taken away from the Thai population and are being enforced specifically on students and youth in Thailand. We are in protest and have been protesting their arrest and their charge. And so the students have been released from jail, but they're still being charged. And so we're continuing to push forward so that the students and all political prisoners in Thailand are released without charge. And that's one of the things that we're protesting.
What kind of activities that you're gonna do on that day?
So one of the reasons why we're organizing at the Thai consulate in Los Angeles is one, to reach out to the Thai community here in Los Angeles. We've been organizing and getting people basically motivated and involved to speak up and to speak out against the military junta. So one of the reasons is to come together as a community here in Los Angeles in solidarity with all of the people suffering under the military junta. The second objective is to deliver a list of demands to Kunjezda, the Consul General of Los Angeles, and so that they can deliver the message to Thailand, the Thai government, and specifically Prayuth.
Do you concerned about the coup d'etat in Thailand and why you have to do this for Thai people?
Well, there's a concept that we work off of, and that's solidarity. And as a human being, we believe at Engage, we believe that human beings all over the world deserve the same rights. So when we talk about the issues in Thailand, we think of that these are our friends that happen to be in another country whose freedoms are being restricted, and not only restricted but violently restricted. And so we take issue with that, and we have a saying, and it's like, if our friends are not free, then we are not free. And so that mentality goes into our organizing. And I personally have friends in Thailand, and that's one of the reasons why I'm connected to this issue. But we also have people who, don't have any connection to Thailand who are participating in this, and that's because it's out of this concept that we call solidarity, and that all people deserve to live freely, to be able to express themselves, and to be able to self-determine their own life.
Launch your campaign in another area, another state in US?
Well, currently there's only one action planned on the Monday the 27th, but we do plan to continue to apply pressure to all of the 5 consulates in the United States.
In Thailand, the junta government, they say they don't have a political prisoner. They have only the criminal, the person, the people who did have been charged with the criminal. What do you think?
Well, we have to understand the position of the junta, and so the people who are against the military coup see the junta as illegitimate. So their stance is going to be that of they're doing what's right. They know what's best for the people, and that's the rhetoric that we continue to hear. Are inciting violence. And we've seen that historically in how the red shirts specifically have been persecuted under Thai legislation, and so a lot of these laws that have been written into effect are not legitimate, and so it's something that I don't believe.
If the foreigner protest the junta government in Thailand, it means the group, these people maybe had been sponsored by the opposite of the government, of the opposite of the junta government, like the Thai parties or the Thaksin regime. What do you think? Are you had been sponsored by the opposite of the military government in Thailand?
No, we have no sponsorship by anyone. We are acting out from our hearts, and I think this is why the junta feels so insecure about what they are doing. It's because you have youth who have free spirit and a big heart and envision a different type of society. And for the junta, this is scary. This is something that they cannot control. They cannot control our passions. And so when you have international people joining onto the Thai struggle, it's because those international people have made those connections between oppressed people around the world. And so one link I want to have for your viewers is that the people being persecuted in Thailand right now are the students and the student movement. And they're trying to prove that they are being sponsored by this person and that person and have these incentives. Well, the reality is that they want a free society to live in. If you go to Mexico, we have the issue of the 43 students that were disappeared, and they have not found their bodies. And they've made links to the cartels and the government based off of corruption. But the government says the same thing as the Thai government. And the issue is that the youth there are organizing, and they're organizing themselves to create a better world. We can also see this here in the United States with the officer-involved killings. Here in Los Angeles alone, we have already 18 people murdered by police agencies this year, 2015, in Los Angeles. A majority of these people are youth. So you see youth being oppressed all over the world. And that's because they fear the youth, because we are impassioned, we move and organize on our hearts, and we want to see a different world. And we're not sold out, we're not old and think this is the way things are and this is the way things have to be. No, the thing is that the youth are radicalized and envision and dream of a different world. And that's what's scary for the junta. Of course, they're going to try to delegitimize our struggle. But they try to legitimize themselves. But the way they act, handle a group of 14 students organizing and getting together in a public space, that shows paranoia and fear. And to me, that's a clear sign that they are insecure about their rule because at any moment the people can rise up, and that's what they fear.
Did you learn the situation in Thailand, and do you clearly understanding what going on in Thailand?
Well, I mean, I've been following politics in Thailand since 2006, and I mean, no, I don't understand everything. I understand that it is complex, but the thing about the military junta is easy to understand, and that's why so many students have gravitated to this. There was a military coup d'etat a year ago, a little over a year ago. They've taken power, and they've taken absolute power. So this is a clear example of a dictatorship and an oppressed people. And that's why I think you see the international community able to take to this story, because it is such a classic example of an illegitimate government.
The junta government that they came to the power because they want to fix the country. They want to make the better democracy in Thailand.
Well, I mean, to me, it sounds like a joke, because, I mean, they did not like where the country was going, and so they took power. They took power with violence and with military means. And I think for the international community, and I'm going to speak for myself, the taking of power by military force is seen as an illegitimate form of power and a grab for power. And so I do not see how that is in the best interest of the people, especially when you can't even gather in a group to discuss and criticize the government in an attempt to make it better. So if there is no dialogue possible between people, how is the military going to know what's best? They're going to do what they do, and that's rule with absolute force and dictatorship and martial law and weapons. The people know what's best, but they're not asking the people, and they do not want to ask the people. And so, to me, that's straight up lies.
Many the leader or the government, they told we have a very special democracy in Thailand, and why we have to have the same thing with your democracy.
There is no standard of democracy, and now I will tell you that even in the United States, we are still fighting for a democratic country. So don't get it twisted. It's not that the United States is the example, because we are fighting for rights, just as you're fighting for rights in Thailand. And so we're not saying that you have to have a certain type of democracy. What we're saying is, where's the people's participation in the democracy? There is no people's participation. The people cannot participate. And so that is the biggest issue, is that there is no people's participation in forming a democracy. Our stance is that the best way to bring the people in to participate is to end the military coup. And so we do not believe that the military has the best interests of the people. And if they truly thought that, what people are asking for is for them to step down.
On 27, maybe you can face with the unexpected counter, like the Thai people who support the coup d'etat in Thailand. So what you gonna do, and what you gonna tell them?
Well, first of all, we are a non-violent movement. We do not believe in the use of force. We will have peace builders from the Youth Justice Coalition who are going to come out and make sure that any instigators or anyone that's trying to cause violence or anything like that, that they're not going to be tolerated. So we have a number of peace builders to diffuse the situation. We're more than welcome to enter into dialogues. This is an all-inclusive movement. we are not. What we're trying to achieve here is unity, because we know that people from the yellow shirts and people from the red shirts are that there's commonalities, and that if they unite together, they can reach a democracy. And so what we're really trying to do, and we really want all people from all parties to come to this event, because we want to start to build unity, and we want to start to build peace and reconciliation, and that's only going to come together through dialogue. And so we're going to be prepared to engage with any other counter views, and to be an example that this is how we move forward. We move forward through dialogue and discussion, not through military coups and violent takeovers and tanks. And so we're going to receive everyone as if they were part of the struggle. For me, it's very difficult to see who would be for the coup and what their motive is, if they were sent by the secret police or what have you. But we'll be ready to diffuse any situation that occurs.
How can bring the divided people in Thailand and come together and be united for the country?
Well, I mean, this is a larger question, and I know that there is history between those groups. There's violent history. There's a lot of name calling, and what we're trying to do is not push that history aside, but let's take a critical look of what the situation is and how can we move forward. And it's because it's not taking a stance; it's taking a stance on human rights. And I think that's something that if people put their guard down, we can come to an agreement. But you do have the elites on both sides, and those are the people sitting at the table. It's not the common people. And so what we're reaching out, we're not trying to reach out to those elites. We're trying to reach out to the common people on both sides. And under human rights, I mean, I think that's something that we can all agree that we can come together on. And so we're not sure how it's going to turn out. But we want to put the idea out that what are the possibilities of unity? What are the possibilities of coming together? And if the common goal is to end the military junta, it is possible with unity. And we want to show that even people who are not Thai want to be part of this struggle, and want to be part of the new democracy movement, and want to follow the 5 pillars, and want to see Thailand as a place where people are free. And right now, people are not free. And that's because of the laws that the military junta has put into place.
Democracy, it's been country, worse and worse for many years, and it's because the democracy in Thailand that bring the politician to come and corruption and to do corrupt in country, and that's why they don't like the democracy in this way. What do you want to say and to make the Thai people that they don't like the way that democracy make the countries worse and worse?
I think the question we have to ask is who is benefiting? Right now, with the military junta in power, who is benefiting? I mean, I think that's a question for our audience to really analyze. Is it the companies? Is it the military? Is it the elites? Because I see a lot of people suffering under this. I see the common person, the farmer. I see the farmer. I see the students. I see the common workers suffering under this military junta. So I'd really like to ask, who is benefiting from the military in power? Who is benefiting from corporate interests in power? Well, it's the elites. It's the rich. And so you start to see a class divide. And they use that to their advantage. But it's disguise. It's a disguise that, true democracy is not attainable because there's too much conflict. There's conflict all over the world.
Yeah. So what you expect from the event that going to be in 27 July?
We hope we have a good turnout. We hope that it's peaceful, and we have to deliver our demands. That's our main objective, and it's also to build community. We've met a lot of people, a lot of Thai people throughout this process. A lot of people who maybe weren't so active and have been re-inspired, invigorated by seeing youth and other people, students, stand up against the military junta and their policies and laws, and so we want to continue inspiring people, and we want to continue bringing people out, but we also want to build community, and this is one way that we're doing it.
Give the message to the Thai people who live in U.S. and they are supporting the junta. What you want to say to them?
It's a question of what it seems like if they're supporting the military junta, they have something to gain, but that means they're also taking away from people, and they're taking away people's rights. And so I think what we're trying to do is really inform people of what's going on and what are the realities and who is suffering, because they're not suffering. And so how do we reach them? And that's something that we're working on, and it's a difficult process. But we have to continue to have an open heart, and we have to continue to reaching out to people, and we have to continue to show what's to gain in Thailand with, understanding what the Thai students are trying to do, what the New Democracy movement is trying to do, and what's to gain from unity. Because at the same time, having a military coup every few years, I don't believe that the people who are supporting the junta are what are they benefiting from? Military sales, being able to pass policies like mining laws that get to extract more of the earth. So there's a number of interests that we have to investigate, and we have to investigate why these people are supporting a violent military coup. We're trying to build something different. We're trying to build something new. And so people can either, have an open mind and join, or I think you're going to be left behind.
General Prayuth Chan-o-cha, Prime Minister of Thailand, had been said that we eat rice, not bread. So why American country or American people force Thai people to eat bread the same way that you eat? What do you think about this word or this idea?
Well, let me help inform General Prayuth that we also eat rice here.
Okay, all right.
But he's trying to create differences. We're trying to unite. He's trying to create distraction from him. We're trying to create involvement and people participation. He's trying to stay in power, so he's going to protect himself at all costs. And try to say, I'm not saying what Thai people should do. I believe that everyone has the right to their own opinion. But we're saying that by Prayuth being in power, he is silencing people. He is oppressing people. And there's no way that the youth and the students are going to be silenced, and we're going to stand up and we're going to fight, and internationally we're going to fight, and we're watching him, we're watching the situation in Thailand, and people are sick of it. People want to stand up, and people are looking for a different way and a new future. So he can say whatever he wants, but we are not threatened by Prayuth.
All right, very impressive. Thank you so much, Mike, and see you on 27 this
John.
July. I mean, 27 in July. Thank you so much and appreciate for your time. Thank you.
John, thank you, and have a good evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Bye bye.